order. Warrants have been passed around or are being passed around to be signed. Previous minutes, was everybody able to access the previous minutes?
Yes.
That were sent?
Make a motion to accept them.
I'll second that.
We have a motion by Gary, seconded by Lance. All those in favor of passing the minutes as they read, say aye.
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 Any opposed? So passed.
I don't think Brenda likes us.
I thought about moving just so she felt more included. I know as soon as I move over there, Terry will show up and.
Well, I'll tell you, when I get the, somebody to run this and I can actually participate in the meetings 100%,
We can.
that would be really good.
Yes. So the only visitor that I have on our list is Audrey, who's not here yet, but I think she drives a little red car.
I thought it was blue.
Oh, okay. That wasn't her that I just saw drive by then.
We could do roads.
We can do roads.
Not Mac.
I told a person that might visit that roads would be later on in the meeting, not at 7:01, but
Did Steve say he was coming?
apparently I am on fire. No, Steve said that he would not be showing up because he spoke with you.
Mm-hmm. And you?
Brenda made a visit. I went up and checked what was going on, and did he speak with you or just the message?
Just a message on the phone.
Okay.
And I called him back, said we'd bring it before the
Okay.
meeting.
So he thought that he was going to be well represented as far as the issue that he had and the amount of people that had the knowledge.
Can I borrow a pen?
Ken. There's Terry. Let me give her a quick second to get in here. Terry, by any chance, did you have a chance to read over the minutes?
I've done nothing. I just flew in from New Jersey.
Oh, okay.
Just barely landed my
All right.
in Vermont.
All right.
Then that wasn't you in the company truck I saw today.
No. Nope.
So, Mac, you've been read in on the concern.
Well, I heard about it. Steve stopped in.
Okay, so Steve talked to Dan. All right. Yeah. And I know you already expressed this off record, but what was the reasoning for stopping there?
Just because we are trying to do high traffic roads priorities, and our smaller class 3 roads get done after, you know. We don't have a chloride, and you've done that road, and you haven't done in front of Brenda's house,
Okay.
What was the complaint?
From the end, or from
George
Partridge's old place down to the end of the bottom of the hill, didn't get graded and chlorided the same time the rest of the road did.
Plus, I'm not 100% sure that the chloride truck around down there.
Okay.
It was a trucking trailer.
Trucking and trailer.
Yeah.
So how many roads do you have left to do?
All the two.
All but 2? Okay, so that was the first road you did. Okay. I know. I feel like the way we've left it is that we would take care of that like a class
Can you send me the
3.
agenda?
Okay.
G data that you don't have them. Was it?
So when can I tell them that
Thought I
that
had
will be
it here.
graded? And
I didn't.
are we talking end of the week? Are we talking beginning of next week?
I would say 2 weeks. By the time you figure you got to do the weather,
Okay.
it's rain, you can't do it when it's too dry, and the availability of chloride.
Okay.
I mean, I feel like you could do main arteries first,
Okay.
and then we usually put down these 3 roads.
We got it.
Okay.
You got it?
I mean, when I'm talking
Because it just popped me a message saying I'm unable to send. Yeah, then you got it, right here.
1,200-1,300 gallons today, so,
Okay.
you know, so it's just a matter of when. I would say
We had a quick
within the next
meeting
3 weeks.
Within the next 3
Should be a
weeks.
quick meeting
Okay.
tonight.
So if he calls, I'm safe in telling him
I got
it'll be
trustees in the
graded
morning.
and chlorided within the next 3 weeks.
If I can turn a truck around there. I
Okay.
can't turn a truck down.
But
If nothing else, John, we
Then
can grade it.
people seems like they're dropping like flies.
Material on a couple stones, because there's nothing but stones
Where's the
there.
feeling?
Grade it on a rainy day, and they
Let's
won't
meet
have
the
problems.
result of
I mean, if they're really
Lunar.
not stuck about chloride.
Yeah.
He wasn't. He just, his words were, I would like the portion that was agreed upon in our meeting taken care of the same way that the rest of the road is taken care of.
Yeah,
He says, I think I deserve that by paying my taxes, that's my,
and it has been graded already once this year.
Okay.
But truth be known, I mean, we put more gravel on that particular section of road than we have on any other section.
And he acknowledged that it was graded up to where it was supposed to be graded
Yep.
the first time.
yep, he was very pleased with that. He was just kinda,
Well, he did say to me that there was no crown in it. That's what he told me.
Yeah.
okay.
Well, it's kinda hard to do a crown when there's no ditch because of the trees that are growing.
Well, I think he wants to get the water off the edges.
I
So
would
it's
say,
gonna
yeah,
go.
if we can just crown it towards the pond side, will that work?
You try.
Or at least put a high spot in the middle so that it runs
Water.
down the edges.
It's not it's in the middle.
So,
What's the, just a question on the material we're putting down to keep the dust down. What is the runoff issues with that in the pond
the
down there?
chloride?
Yeah.
That pond's pretty
Usually
far
very-
away.
Very, very low.
Yeah.
It soaks in good, it usually stays where we put it.
Yeah.
And the pond is actually, upgrade from the
Okay.
road, right? Drains
Cool.
down to the road, so.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thanks.
No problem.
All right, Audrey, if you wouldn't mind.
Oh, she's gonna sneak in behind me and between me
Okay,
and-
perfect.
between
We'll
me and
have,
Terry.
between you and Terry, will work great.
Smile. It's like the chick, you bet. You get the total out of it.
Did you send me something?
That's the mic.
Yep,
Oops, sorry.
it picks up really
everything.
well, so
It does.
you just talk in a normal voice, you'll be fine.
Okay.
Welcome, Audrey. So, I saw on Facebook that you've posted looking for an assistant, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Now Lance said that he spoke with you about the 10 days to notification, and then 10 days to acquire a assistant, and then, as I say, at that point, it becomes the job of the select board to find an assistant, is how I read it. I don't know
Yeah.
if anybody else has a ulterior reading of that, but that's how I understood it. It being a little over 10 days, I was curious if you have found or recommendations on a assistant.
Well, excuse me. I met with Susan Wooten, who was actually here tonight. And I think that she would be a good candidate. I'm not sure what procedures you guys want to go through with it. I don't know how much training you want to invest, hours for training you want to invest. Susan's been really out of the workforce for a while, but she seems like she's very qualified.
Okay.
And could catch on really quick. I guess it's up to you guys to decide what you're looking for.
Okay.
Probably
Okay.
get to meet with her.
So as a board, would we like to hold, I guess it would be an interview of Susan, I'm terrible with names.
So,
Susan. Excuse me.
so I guess I'm with Audrey. I think what they're looking for is what's the job classification, first of all.
Yep.
I mean, we talking, she comes up 2 hours a week to train with Audrey? Is she coming, I mean, how often are we looking, because she's obviously got to get trained by Audrey to
Right.
get on board, period.
Yep.
So how many hours and what are we looking at for pay?
And
I don't know what was paid before for the assistant.
Who
Who was the assistant?
Before Abby it was me.
You were Abby's assistant?
I was Vera's assistant, and then I was Abby's assistant. And from what I understand, once I got done being assistant for Abby, there wasn't another one. We didn't have another assistant.
Abby didn't feel that she needed one.
So it was a
I
vacant
thought it's a
position.
required.
That's something we found out, yes.
Technically,
Well,
I was the assistant treasurer, but that was shadow. 'Cause I-
so you were an assistant treasurer in training that
Remember you
filled
appointed
in,
me? I
yeah.
never got trained.
Okay,
I just helped with taxes, just,
That's right, it was just
Service.
before tax season, and Abby said
Yeah.
she needed some help for
yeah.
taxes, yep. That's right.
okay. So, do you remember what the pay scale was, or either of you, Tammy, or for the assistant?
Mine was the same as the assistant town clerk, it was just $20,
20, okay.
whatever.
Okay. Okay. And do you remember how many hours it was, like, roughly? I mean, obviously during tax season it's gonna be higher, which is when you filled in, but
My entire year, probably 10 hours.
10 hours for the whole year,
Because
okay.
I only really contributed during tax season. I mean, Abby was amazing.
Yeah, see, when I was with Vera, when I was training, because we have so many different functions of the job, it is very involved because, first off, I believe repetition is the best teacher. And we don't do other than payroll and
Warrants.
warrants,
Yep.
thank you. We don't do a lot of repetitive work. But I know that I worked 2 mornings a week with Vera while training to get up to where I felt comfortable, or as if I had to do it by myself.
Okay.
And I, because it was quite a while ago, I don't remember exactly for how long. I did not do payroll with Vera because, and I say this in the kindest way because she is a wonderful person. Vera was always very hands-on. She had her
Way of doing it.
way of doing, she had her way of doing things. She had done it for so long that she could do it in her sleep.
Right, right.
And basically with Vera, it was photocopying and stuffing envelopes
So more clerical than actually,
than actually hands-on.
okay.
But there is a lot of work. I'm trying to piece together early enough on exactly what's involved in, doing taxes, because I want to make sure they're 100% accurate. They go out on time with no issues, just like with Abby before me and Vera before her.
Okay.
So I think I'm going to need a lot of training. And I think that, so it's going to be 2 people working together that, unfortunately, we're always going to be learning the
Okay.
job at the same time.
Okay. And you're using QuickBooks, correct?
QuickBooks for financials, yes. For
Okay.
taxes, no.
And what is the taxes is just our own rate and our own bill, correct? That's the one that doesn't come, there's no computer system to program for that.
I spoke briefly with Susan
Sonsky?
Sonsky.
Yeah, she's one of our listers.
Trying to pick anybody's brain, and I mean that in the nicest way. Kind of early on, get a feel for where am I headed, what's happening next, how soon do we have to do it. And Susan explained to me that once everything is in place, then we download everything off her computer to generate the bills.
Okay.
And once the tax rate has been set, and they've kind of done all their
The state hasn't signed
checks
off
and
yet.
balances, and
Okay.
states accepted it, that's where the list gets generated from.
Okay.
So,
All right.
and then there's a lot of photocopying and double checking and making sure that everything's accurate.
Okay. And so, do you
Yes.
have any experience on QuickBooks? Are you?
Yes, about 10 years ago was probably the last time I used it, but Audrey had said that it really probably hasn't changed all that much.
Okay.
I was word processing operator for a number of years, and moved into the computer department, so computers are my thing.
Okay.
I pick up on programs pretty quick. I work down at random schools part-time, but it's a flexible schedule.
Okay. And are you getting more comfortable with the QuickBooks?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, again, it's learning things that even with QuickBooks, it's our own little thing that we do,
Right.
our own programs.
Yep.
How we pay the bills, how we're transferring money and stuff that, really, QuickBooks is an outlet, but it's not the end all and be all.
Yep.
We have to really know what we're doing and give QuickBooks that information, set it out.
Okay. Now, when Abby was here, she gave us a couple of reports that she was showing you how to run, and so I think, yeah, it's the profit and loss versus actuals.
Yep.
I think.
We ran those together.
Okay, and you're comfortable running those? Because I think what we'd like, Audrey, until we're, just to make sure everything's running smooth and kind of double, triple checking, is if we can get you at, if we can get every meeting for the first couple months with those profit loss actual statements, and if you can kind of walk over those with us, just so that we make sure that we're gonna be good for the year, and that we're, it'll also help us budget for next year.
Yeah, you want these once a month?
If we can get them twice a month, actually, for the first little while, just to make sure that we're doing it, that we're getting it to the right position.
Also, we're accustomed to receiving some balance sheets, balance of accounts.
Right, which I think is in there also.
For the first, okay.
That's
That's a separate issue than this though.
No, that one's the profit loss actual, so it has
No,
what
no,
we budgeted.
no, the balance of accounts is what I'm looking for, Josh.
You mean like the Tupper Fund, stuff
Correct.
like
Oh,
that?
okay.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, it's
I
not
don't know
the
if
budget,
that's
road
enough.
budget. Yeah, okay.
Correct.
I'm sorry,
Okay.
misunderstood you.
Thank you, Terry.
Are those interest-bearing accounts? Just curious.
All right.
Are those interest-bearing accounts?
Some of them are, yes. So the trust funds, some of the trust funds are.
Yeah,
Is that,
those were the second meeting of every month, right, that Abby brought those?
I thought it was the first, but it
Was
could
it
be
the
the second.
first?
I'd be happy with
It
a
would
once a
be.
month statement. I don't care if it's the beginning or end.
Well, it would be the way that we, like I said, we did this together.
We haven't had it for,
a couple months now?
right.
And
Yeah, we haven't had one since
March,
March, yeah.
right. Does that seem doable, Audrey?
the only thing that I can say to you in all honesty is we did it once. So it's gonna take me some time to familiarize myself with it
Okay.
to make sure that it's accurate.
And you can see how those would be valuable to us as far as,
Oh, absolutely.
yeah, those are, I mean,
I would assume that somewhere in your laptop there's a spreadsheet that you just need to check, which will give you a template to work from.
I think that's actually in the QuickBooks unit itself. That's, yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, if you can work on that,
Actually, the Tupper fund, the trust fund.
oh, the trust fund stuff. I'm sorry,
won't be
I
in
keep
there.
forgetting what you're.
And then the
I'm
trust
talking
fund
local, you're
report,
talking
get that, right?
trust funds for,
Well, it's a balance, yeah, most of
Yeah,
the
that's
others
right.
probably are in
That's in there
QuickBooks.
too?
I don't believe that the trust funds
So
are, Josh.
it's the three things, profit and loss report.
Oh, yep, yep. It is on here.
it is in there?
Balances of accounts.
Yeah, it's right on the
Yes.
front page.
Oh, okay,
Those
that's,
three things.
Because we
Yes.
really don't do it.
Let
You
me
want
just
me
show it to Lance so I can see if that's what he's
Just to
looking
make sure.
for.
Do-do-do-do-do. That is.
that was on the front page. That would be my fault for not giving that to you. That's been in here.
Thank you, Chairman.
Sure.
You can yell at me later.
Bang him upside the head for me, will you, please?
Make sure you get it
So-
best side.
Yeah, get my good side. And is,
So on the assistant
thank
position,
you.
we have somebody that we have interested.
Yep.
But really, as a board, we got some homework to do before we
We do.
kind of got the cart before we get the horse.
Yep. As far as hours and pay.
And
Yep.
whatnot. So,
Do you remember, just because I'm finishing up my notes, how long did you train with Vera? Was that a month? Was it a couple weeks?
To be honest with you, I trained with Vera from March, right around March, April, through to tax time,
Through October, okay.
you know. Because
so
it
when you
just-
say 2 mornings a week you came in, was it like for 2 hours or for the whole morning?
it would depend on the work.
Is not correct. There's a discrepancy
position is one that is-
balance in the checkbook or.
You have to judge your work when you get it. You might have to come in for 4 hours. You might come in, there's only 2 hours.
Oh, gotcha.
You really
So it
can't.
depends on what's there for the workload.
Okay.
Okay.
If I could, before I leave, get a copy of that, I'll take a copy of that. But yeah, Abby and I did do it together.
Okay.
So I have an idea of what she, what she did and what
More
input
reports.
she.
Can I get you to?
Copy it?
Yes, please, and thank you. Thank you. All
So
right.
for the assistant, you're looking more for help during tax season than anything.
Well, the board seemed to feel that we need an assistant in the event that something were to happen to me.
Well, yeah.
Somebody
I
to be
mean,
able to step
right,
into the
right.
position.
If something were to
Even
go
if-
awry, but I
Even if you
mean,
went on vacation.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
any
if there was a
reason.
payroll due or something like that.
Oh, here's a for instance, which is a very, very possible. I mean, had an emergency situation where my husband needed emergency surgery.
Right,
Hadn't been doing this for a month, and bang, that happened.
right.
You know,
Yeah. So it's more for an emergency if something
Yeah.
happens to you or someone in your family or whatever. And then if there was a time that you were away on vacation, they would fill in to do your pay, to basically keep their payroll more than anything. And if there was bill warrants to be,
right?
where everything else pretty much is done by you, but could use the help during the tax season.
Tax season.
Okay.
So tax season and,
Okay, that makes sense.
I think that's all the information. Anybody else have any questions about what's?
No, I've been talking to Audrey off and on through this process, so
It's because she doesn't like me.
You know,
I'm just picking on you.
Josh, I have to say to you, and I offer a sincere apology.
I'm just picking on you, Audrey.
Ever since I started working over here, back when I started working with Vera, and then as the secretary for the select board for almost 2 years, Lance has been the chairman.
Yep.
So
I
I automatically think
Thank
of Lance. I mean, it's force of habit. It's not to discriminate or.
Well, because of FEMA meetings, I've been in and out,
yeah. No,
and I talked to her.
I was just picking on her because she was here and I could.
I don't put a lot of faith in stalking it, but I did call you.
You did. I just feel like we had a nice little chat.
What did you call him?
Many things, I'm sure.
It was, but it wasn't out of, just out of, oh, yep, Lance. My number one go-to.
So, like I said, I'm all set. We obviously have some discussing to do on the assistant position. Thank you for coming in. And as soon as we have information, as far as exactly what we're looking for, if we pass that on to you, Audrey, and then we'd love to meet with you again.
Okay.
If that's fine with you. I hope I'm not speaking out of turn here, but is everybody's agreement good? Everybody's head shaking, so. All right, perfect. So, like I said, we got some discussing to do about the assistant position.
We wanted to talk on how important it is to have things on time.
Yes. Did you, by any chance, get to read the minutes from our last meeting?
No, I did not.
Okay. So we had visitor, and you're welcome to read the minutes. I'm not going to throw any names out. There's been a couple concerns about some late payments for personnel payments. And we want to just make sure we get those on time so that people's checks aren't late,
And I think there wasn't also incorrect.
There was an incorrect amount, which
No
I'm
bill.
sure you know which one that is, because it was on your desk after the last meeting. It was handed to me, so, just.
Well, and I understand that, and I also understand that,
You're in training.
well, first off, it's training, and second off, let me just say that it's been, and I don't definitely it's been the training has been
Week?
Abby is a very, very good trainer. She's really good. She really knows what she's doing. It's been stressful some days.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I honestly have to say, I mean, it's been stressful. Abby has bent over backwards. She's had a number of things on her plate. She has two beautiful little children that are very well mannered, but there are times that when you're trying to do something and you have two children here, things get a little chaotic. They get.
Oh yeah.
Honestly, I mean,
I can understand that.
It's just kind of.
Sometimes it's hard, like even for myself with training, when I'm training somebody new, when you've done the job for so long, you know the job like the back of your hand. I sometimes have a hard time training somebody because it's so automatic to you.
Absolutely.
You know? So I understand what you're trying to say, because Abby does know it very well. But sometimes it's just like coaching. Sometimes you can play the game really well, but can't coach.
Yeah.
That's it. And I mean, I am definitely, I am not by any means trying to take away from all the hard work Abby's done, because Abby has done excellent.
Exactly.
But like I said, kids are gonna be kids, no matter how well behaved they are.
Well, the workplace isn't really where it should, the kids should be.
It's when you're trying to train somebody, and as hard as she tried, kids need you, and kids need their parents. I don't care. I have to give these two little guys a lot of credit. They were very well behaved, but there were times they needed their mother.
Yep.
And so you're sitting there waiting because you got all these other things going around. And unfortunately, they were just. And the other part of it is that, again, I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about. I know you're talking about payroll, but when, for instance, right now, this individual wants things done a certain way. They want their paperwork scanned to them. Well, right now, our scanner doesn't work. We cannot scan it to them.
Mm-hmm.
I came in here a week ago on Friday. It also means more communication.
Mm-hmm.
I came in a week ago Friday. Well, let's back up. I sent scanned the paperwork in, sent it out, not realizing there was anything wrong with the scanner. Didn't get anything until Thursday night. Thursday night I hear, I don't have my paperwork. Now, and let me back up again. When somebody comes in on a Monday night after the office is closed, and I do not come in until Tuesday morning, you cannot consider me having that for a day.
Right.
Because the paperwork may say May 10th, but I never laid eyes on it until May 11th. So please don't say to me, well, it's been sitting there since May 11th. By May 12th, that paperwork was turned around and sent back. Now, I never heard anything till I found out that it wasn't done. So anyways, I come in on my own, and then I shouldn't say my own time because I feel I'm compensated for it. And I spend an hour in here fooling around with that copier out there, thinking that it's something I did wrong. I even read the tutorial and worked through the tutorial to see what was wrong, what was I doing wrong, because I felt, gotta be me. Ended up going to my house, using my scanner, and scanning the information to this individual.
Okay.
Come in Monday morning and was telling Kathy about it. She goes, oh no, it's not you, the scanner's broke. So I spent an hour of my time fooling with a broken down scanner.
Yep.
I apologize that it happened. Nobody likes to have to wait for their payroll. I'm trying to I'm trying to increase and help promote better communications. If I send it and the scanner says it, the copier says it's sent,
Yep.
if I don't get some sort of communication, I don't feel that I should be the one to constantly be, did you get it? Did you get it? Do you have it?
Sure.
I think that's a two-way street. We need to open up communication.
Okay.
Did my best. I've already reached out to this individual and said, here's the scoop. Our scanner's still not working. I cannot scan that. Scanning it in is I drove right past this person with the warrant in my hand and offered to drop it off and was told, no, I want it emailed. I can only do so much.
Yep.
Yeah.
I apologize that I've offended.
No, and we're not, you know, we're just,
No, but
that was one of the concerns that was brought up to us, and we just, you know, it sounds to me like you're working on it, and
Yeah.
it's a technical issue at this point, and
it's the communication thing, like you say, if we hadn't brought that up to you, we'd be thinking the other way was how it all went down, but two sides, there's a story on both sides. So I'm glad to hear.
I think we need to get better, and I'm not saying I'm completely faultless because.
No, well, you're in training. A note on the copier would have been nice, saying it's not scanning.
Kathy didn't. She didn't know until she came in. On
Right,
Monday,
right.
And she tried, and when I came in and said, again, still feeling it was me, dummy, you know. I said to her, please walk me through this one more time. Tell me what I'm doing wrong. And she said, you're not doing anything wrong. It doesn't
It's not
work.
working.
Okay.
It's not working. So,
but when it is working, there's no problem scanning it, is what you're saying.
right.
That's,
And
hey,
I mean,
that's all we can ask, really.
and in addition to, we're talking about a pay period or payroll, where I had 10 warrants, which is, for me, an unusual amount of warrants because we don't normally have that many. The only thing I can tell you is I'm gonna keep plugging away, keep trying harder, and
That's all we can ask.
Just as an aside, Audrey, it's okay for the trustees. Those could have, 3 of them could have gone all on one warrant. Just if it makes it easier for you.
yeah, well, they were done on separate warrants.
Yeah, but you gave them to us all the same day. You could have put them
Right.
all on one warrant. It would have been all right.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay, well, keep up the good work. We'll get there.
Keep plugging along. There you go.
Hasn't been that long that you took the driver's seat, so.
well,
Yeah.
I'm feeling more and more confident all the time. There's still a lot
Good.
that I still need to know because we really never got into it. I'm still need to learn a lot. So we'll just keep plugging along.
Sounds good to us.
Thank you for coming in.
Perfect.
Thank you both for coming in.
This,
Yep.
twice a month for a couple months.
Well, I'm not sure. Well,
If you can,
I think
I mean, just check in with us so we know what's going on with it.
I
And
can
if
try.
you-
Yeah, I can try running this. It's good to have a copy because I don't think I have a copy of it. So it's good to have a copy and to know what it. Like I said, you're talking about a report like this that we went through once.
Yeah.
So I can try running the numbers, you know, in the beginning and the end, or the middle and the end of the month. But how much it's going to change, if it changes at all, we'll have to wait and see. But I'll make sure and at least
us
give it
know.
a try.
Yep.
Perfect.
Okay, so are we all set?
We
We
are.
are.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, guys, thank you.
Have a good night. I hate to say this, I like the both of you. Remember when I told you that we cover roads at the end because there's usually a bunch of crap going on? There was nothing on our agenda and Audrey wasn't here. So we talked about it right off. But, alright, thank you for coming in, and we can go over exactly what was talked about again, just so you hear it firsthand, and it's not coming from Mac to me to you. So, Mac, if you wanna just give them the rundown on what you told us, and
We will be there. That was the first road we did this morning, that's the first road we put chloride on.
Yep.
I feel it's more of a necessity to hit the heavily traveled portions, you know what I mean, like where you're talking, Peaked Hill, the small roads, we tend not to do them on the first pass because sometimes chloride is not available, and we feel it's better to get it on the highly traveled, higher impact roads, but we will be there.
And the hole's just great.
Yeah, well, I guess
we don't need the.
It wasn't wet enough this morning for it to lay back down. What he graded, if we hadn't put chloride on it, he did the King Road after that one. That was
dusty.
that was fun.
Yeah, I understand that.
So if nothing else, once it rains, you know, get a good rain and we get caught up, he's made it sound like it could use some more gravel because there's some stones sticking up, you know, in some strategic places that the grader doesn't like.
Yep.
Probably put a little more on top of that. Like I said, I don't know if I can turn that chloride trailer around down there with the tandem.
I don't think you can either.
So I mean, like I say, if it gets graded on a good wet day,
Yep.
get some traffic, then it will lay back down and it probably will not bother.
Yeah, I don't think it will either because there's not that much traffic,
Right.
like you said.
And there's no logging going on this summer.
No, not yet.
Not yet.
Well, he said he wasn't coming back till fall or
Probably.
winter maybe.
Yeah, because of the culverts up there. There's
Yeah.
not enough gravel over the top
Yeah.
right now, up further.
Right. Yeah.
Where
And did
we
you say
take
you're
care
gonna try to do something so the water would?
Yeah, we'll try to get the ground up a little.
Yeah, I just don't want it to wash out. again.
Right, yeah. No, we were not ignoring you.
Okay.
It was not Dan,
Thank you.
it was not Mark, it was me that just.
It's
said, "Well,
impossible to do, right, Alicia?
But what you're telling me, I appreciate you telling me.
Yeah, well, Dan didn't know. Dan wasn't, you know, because I told Marcus, just go as far as George's for now, like we usually do, and then we'll, you know, it's like when we plow in the winter time, go up as far as George's before the school bus, and then get
Yeah.
out, and then we'll go back and we get.
As long as you get it, is what I care about.
Yep.
And your timeline was,
But other
you
than
said
that-
probably within 3 weeks.
The other roads are great.
Yeah,
You're doing a good enough job for me there.
yeah, he's not worried about chloride, I mean, it's just a matter of getting a rainy day graded, you know,
Okay.
I mean, that's,
Okay.
Because I don't
So that could
believe we
be-
need chloride on that.
So that would be inside the 3-week window.
I would say so, yeah,
Okay.
probably.
And what's it gonna bother if
And you-
there's
you're-
a little dirt dust flying there?
Right, right.
There's nobody to really bother there.
No,
It's more the grading than anything.
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
just ground it up.
Yeah,
Perfect.
protect it
That's-
some.
Okay,
All right,
Okay.
perfect.
Glad we could take care of it.
I appreciate it. Have a good night.
Yeah,
You
Thank
too.
you.
Take care. Wow, you sound disappointed.
Tammy, do you have their names?
You too.
Yep.
Okay, good.
Steve Maynard, Alicia Pinto.
Yep. All right. I don't see yours on this. It's a road access, I believe.
For,
Intersection of Basswood and Waterville. Agricultural, construct a new agricultural access.
the corner of Waterloo and Basswood.
That's one.
Who's
That's what it
that?
says.
That can't be right.
4,857 feet to Waterville Mountain and Basswood Hill Road intersection. Maybe it's just up from there?
Oh, is it up towards?
4,000, that's almost a mile.
Is
Okay.
that up to,
What are you talking about?
That's your son.
Oh,
sorry, is that the old,
why is
Nor-
everybody looking at me? I
is that
don't
the
even
old
know what
Norton,
you're
is
talking
that the old
about.
Norton property?
I have no idea what it was. It's, if you go past,
Tell him to be a little more specific. 4,857 feet isn't quite specific enough.
I'm pretty sure it's the old Norton property, because I heard
Okay.
they're process of buying that.
they already bought it.
Okay, that's where it is, it's the old Norton
Purchased
property.
Okay.
What-
And it looks
what was
like they're
the
just.
lady that always was like doing forestry and stuff. That's who it is. It's that lady.
You just told me that
You
name,
know
Allard?
who I mean?
Dorothy Allard,
Dorothy
yeah.
Allard.
Yes.
Okay.
That's the
She
that's the
lived there?
property.
Yeah,
Yeah.
long driveway and the house,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
the old-
yeah.
Bill,
That's the old
Bill
Norton
her
property.
husband was Bill Martin,
Yeah.
or
Back-
is Bill Martin.
Back in the old days, it was
Yes.
the Norton
Partner,
family,
husband,
and then
I'm
Norton
not
Shore
sure
with
what
Allard.
the correct term
It's like,
is.
how many, it's got a few acres, right?
Yeah. like,
It's, you know,
It's
some
getting
of it's
harder to be
us,
politically
some of it's
correct.
Belvedere,
So
or not Belvedere, Waterville.
to be honest with you. Okay.
So-
So that's nothing we have to deal with. Mac's gotta go up and check that before it comes back to us. That skipped a step.
What is it?
I think road access
Road access.
for a culvert problem.
Must be for the pump house.
I'm trying to. Is it right near the driveway there? You think, Matt? Don't know.
It's flagged, I do know that.
It is. It does say it's flagged. There's no
Does it
picture
say
though.
on there that it's flagged?
No.
It does say it's flagged.
flag.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Anything else?
Yeah.
yeah, that was in our. That was in the warrants, which tells me it was probably just a way to get it to Mac. It probably came in today, so he'll check that out, and then next meeting we'll be able to approve everything if it's.
You know what that is?
Yeah, this is the contractor we went over last time, isn't it?
That's conservation, that's your consumer conference report.
Oh, okay.
So we can't approve that tonight?
Not until
That?
he checks it.
No.
No.
Max got to look at it first. Road commissioner.
This is for our town water, correct?
So it tells you tells all the consumers what your water's got in it, leads, what your allowances are.
So this has been made public, is what I'm.
Right, totally right, you posted that, consumer.
But did he intend on working on it this week?
Well, he's taken off from his job to get this,
As
but if he's gotta wait 2 weeks, that's not gonna be very.
as far as if Mac approves it, I'm okay with it.
Okay.
I was gonna say, if you go up and approve that, Mac, and Kathy or Tammy can send us an email, we could probably come in and sign that. If
Yeah.
it's, you know the steps.
Insufficient efficiency,
What?
inadequate storage alarms and inadequate reporting, monthly reporting. Bad boy.
Don't read that.
What do you do?
That's meant for people that drink the water.
That's the fire protection contract, which
We table that?
we tabled that, because they were going to get us more info, I believe.
What did you table?
The contract, it wasn't the actual fire department contract, it was a proposed contract, yeah,
Along
and
with
they were gonna go
financial
back and
reports.
look with, yeah, and they had the financial reports with it and everything. You may actually want a copy of those, probably should've gone with the last meeting's minutes, but,
Okay.
I can give you that.
I do have a little. We did have the under roads. I'm sorry. We had the pre-bid meeting.
Okay.
So the contractors have gone and visited the sites, and we've done the best that we could to answer any questions they had.
Was that down at
What?
Goat Path?
It's Goat Path. No, that is not. That's the only one it isn't. It's Jordan, Waterville, and Whitney.
Have a lot of interest.
Don't confuse
Oh,
me.
Whitney.
I was gonna say, you keep tapping him.
Have a lot of interest, have a lot of contractors, or? No.
Not really. There's enough for us to choose from. There's over 3, but I think there were only 4 of them there, weren't there?
I have a little interest, I had a couple jobs, and I had 2 guys show up
Who
out of
ended up
5.
coming?
Who were the contractors?
SD Ireland.
GW?
Good. Yeah.
Gillian from
Yeah.
Fletcher and
Which Gillian?
Out of Cambridge.
Longwood.
Well,
Long. Yeah.
Tatro couldn't make it, but
What was the last one?
you think,
Long Cody.
Blow and Cody?
Mm-hmm.
Blow.
Blow, BLW.
Tatro couldn't make it because he was doing a compaction thing, and so he didn't make it, but I don't know if he might still do it.
he might still bid, just off the description?
Yeah.
Okay.
I talked to Tyler today, and he's kind of looking for a date to do the Go Path pre-bid too.
Oh, good.
So I told him any day with me, I'd have to check with you, so we got that meeting at 9 o'clock on Wednesday.
Yeah, I believe so. Yes.
So
No.
say you bring it up that day.
It's Wednesday, I don't remember the time.
I think you said it was Wednesday at 9.
10:30. Oh, that's the 12th. That was the last one.
C-O-O-D.
9 o'clock, you are correct.
H-U-E-E.
So that's the next informational meeting with,
We signed off on Trowbridge and
yep.
So those two are done.
Well,
Trowbridge and,
Come on, David.
be nasty now.
oh, no, it was Jordan. We signed off on Jordan.
That's right.
For 40 plus 10 mitigation, which,
So the Jordan Road's open?
oh, Jordan.
It's been open.
Oh,
It's just, we gotta do that culvert. So, and that's what we're waiting for the funding to get done, and now the bid out on it, and as soon as that, then it'll close for a day or two, or whatever it takes to put the.
How big tube is up in Jordan?
What's that?
How big tube you put on?
He's putting a 60 by 48
Wow.
squash.
Wow. Is that where the old bridge used to be, or is that?
No, it's up this side where we had a 2-footer
Okay.
coming away from the state's 30-incher. But the state's is undersized according to the hydraulic study, so. Of course, the hydraulic study says something.
Right.
The FEMA had state guy that was, the walk around originally said, match what's under the state and that'll probably be good. Of course, when you do a hydraulic study, that's not good enough.
So our road will be more in compliance than the state road?
Pretty much.
Yes.
Awesome.
The state road has a lot of place to back up if it floods again.
Oh,
Ours, it comes through their culvert and
it's right there. Yep. Okay, so we have an email here making sure that we received the dispatch contract, which I have here. And so this one is just the confirmation. Dispatch, emergency communication and dispatch service contract for the town of Bakersfield. Basically it comes down to the fee is $16,080. And the contract is 2 years, from July 1, 2021 to June 30, 2023.
Mr. Chairman, does that cover both years or just 1 year at a time?
The town shall pay the city an annual fee, so that is a single year fee.
32 grand?
$32,000, yes.
And this is for who?
This is for our dispatch.
Oh, dispatch.
Which is
Right.
always put on for the
Right.
vote, but we don't have any way to actually.
it wasn't put on our vote?
It's always put on to vote, but it's
Right,
not
on
one of
our
the,
budget.
yeah, under the general,
Right,
but it's
right,
not, it's a fixed fee, yeah.
right. So it's 16 per year.
Correct.
Yes.
Does it require a motion to approve it?
I believe it does,
60 per year or 32.
16 per year,
16.
32 total
32 for the
For
two.
2 years.
for the 2-year contract.
Well, that's not, isn't that a voted?
If however payment of one lump sum is a hardship, the city may, upon request from the town, accept payments of 4 installments, each due within 5 days.
It's not, it hasn't changed much from last year.
No, it really didn't.
No.
For some reason, I want to say it was 16,000 last year.
I think it was.
Yeah.
So there's a difference in changing period for the contract? Is it now 2 years versus 1 year?
This is just the previous contract ended, and this is just a renewal of the same contract. It seems to be at the same, or fairly close in price. Carrie should be able to tell us here in just a second.
If I can find it,
Is that the report?
yeah. 2019. Here's-
Anybody want to read that before we vote on it?
I'm good. Now we up?
You want to read it?
Yeah, I'd take a quick look at it, please.
We should have voted on it.
It would have been in the general, so you'd have to look at the breakdown of the general expenses.
It was on the, it
Isn't
was
it?
on the ballot.
Oh, it
Should
is
have been
on
on the
that.
ballot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like you said, it was in the general
I
fund,
think it's in the general expenses, cause it's a set,
like the fire department.
yeah, like the fire department contract.
I'm okay with that. It's pretty much the same.
Yeah.
Same
You wanna look at it before,
Did you find it in the report?
I'm still looking.
just looking to see if it's actually in here. Electric mileage.
American Friend County Home Health Fairfield Agreement.
That's,
Terry's got one.
Find it, Terry.
No. Of course, can't read half of it because it's so very small. I thought we voted on it in this, no? Right there.
Right there. 16,080.
So it's
And
the
it
same
it
was-
shop.
hasn't changed at all.
No?
Okay.
It was a separate line item?
Yes.
Yeah, we voted on it.
That's just one of those things we don't have the option of changing the number.
No. We either accept it or we don't,
Right.
which means we either have service or not.
So are we good with signing? Or actually, we need a motion
I
and a
make a
vote.
motion to accept the
I don't think we
contract for the,
have to do a motion because the town voted to do it.
Well, this is for the next couple of years, though.
This is the next contract.
right.
Oh, because it wasn't on
They
this
can
year.
vote on the money, but
That's
they
right.
can't vote on the contract that we have to
Right.
sign.
I make a
Yeah,
motion to accept the
you're right.
contract as
I'll second that.
written.
So this is the 24th day.
Keep forgetting we didn't do our usuals.
Yeah.
24th day of May. 2021. I have a motion and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Signed by.
Yeah.
Alright.
Says I need a witness. Anybody want to witness it?
No, it's a-
Notarized or?
I was
It
gonna
doesn't
it
say
doesn't have
notarized,
to
just
be
says
notarized.
witnessed.
Okay.
I mean, theoretically, we just had a whole bunch of people out in TV land witness.
Really?
Sign it.
We got all kinds of witnesses. Exactly.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say hello, Katie, or hello, Dan. Which one is it?
You know what's going on.
All right.
Is that the only person on with us? Is
I believe-
Katie and Dan?
Yeah. One of the things I was judging was how many people, if I put it in front page forum.
We'll need a copy for ourselves.
Yeah.
Well,
and-
because that Tim Joyle had a thing
Yeah,
where
we need a copy.
Well, back-
they can't, it must
I
be
didn't-
he
Yes.
I
decided
didn't
not
put it
to.
in
Sign it
because
and
it's
send it back
in
to us
our,
signed?
They should.
Okay.
it's
Yeah.
embedded in our
I'm surprised it wasn't mailed signed, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
notices.
Oh,
All right.
yeah.
See what else have we got here? Roads. We have job descriptions in roads. Is that something we want to attempt to tackle tonight? Or
I think we should seriously think about, my opinion, if we come prepared, each one of us with their ideas of what the job description should be, that we'd have a better meeting.
yeah. And if
Well-
Gary, if you could send us those files again as to the Enosburg descriptions, I think they had.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I
Are
think
you
we have
gonna- are you-
Enosburg's, right? But she probably.
Yeah, would you list out what descriptions we're looking at covering so that,
So for the roads,
Well,
we're
to
just
start
looking at
with,
foreman,
road
road commissioner, and road crew. So there'd be three separate.
See, like what I have
Well-
foreman,
Yeah.
operator, and laborer.
And
Right,
we-
so we don't-
technically,
yeah.
we should include commissioner there,
Right.
That's
which
what
is
we-
That's what I
separate,
said.
which is separate.
You said
Did you say foreman?
I
Yeah.
said commissioner, foreman, and crew.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yep.
I missed one of them.
No, that's fine. I was looking this way when I spoke. We'll get you.
Maybe check
Get me a
with,
hearing aid.
maybe check with Billy Joe over in Enosburg Town. They may have a job description for their people.
Okay. Yep.
We're kind of village is kind of different.
Village is a little different than the town, yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's not anything.
I could still send you the
Tax
job
break.
description if you want.
It's, the ones you sent us were fine. It gives us a little bit of a layout.
Right.
Is what it does.
You
It's
want it
not
again?
going to match that anyways
When did you
because
send
ours
those
is
out?
totally
Oh, that was
different
before you were
than
here.
what
Yeah.
you guys are doing.
We revised them a little bit.
Sure has some
We updated them
input
for
that
some
you
stuff.
want.
Absolutely. I was just gonna ask Mac to talk to the guys and see, if there's anything particular that you would want included in the job
Or
description. Or change. Not that we have job descriptions for you to change, but
Do the same thing you did with the other thing, show me what the description is, and if there's anything or.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fair.
that'll work.
I can resend them. We have modified them this year. We've changed some stuff on them. We've changed some wordage.
That would be great. Thank you.
Yeah, that would be very helpful.
Yeah, it's more for a guideline. We aren't going to do it word for word.
Right.
Yeah, we'll go through an erase where it says Enosburg.
Maybe one of us can call Mr. Houston and figure out how he did that, where it just highlighted it, changed it once, and it changed it through the whole thing.
Yeah.
So I know Melanie is not on here, but we do have a couple concerns that are,
Why is she not on here? 'Cause
I'm-
you didn't tell her to be here.
We didn't put her on.
we didn't put her on the agenda. But yeah, there were a couple concerns that were brought up to me by community members. One of them being lack thereof permit for the Westcombe Snack Shack, or whatever the building is. I guess I can't assume that it's the Snack Shack right now, it's just the building. But there's no permit that is visually displayed. Maybe it's there, I'm not sure, but that is a question that.
Can we call her?
I've been told
call
I
that
sent her a
to
note,
her?
she isn't available.
I was
Oh,
told by
okay.
Kathy that they were mailing out a letter of violation to Brian.
From Melanie?
I believe so, yes.
Okay.
But that was just what
So if there's,
Kathy had said. There was a letter had sent to Brian. But
okay,
I
so,
don't know when it was sent or what time. I mean,
and there's, okay, so again, we don't know. So I guess, we need to add Melanie to our meeting for the first meeting in June.
How does that work with, well, first of all, we don't even know if that's what's being built.
Don't know if that's what's being built.
well,
No.
I know some of the relatives, and that's what it's going to be. He's moving his
That's-
stuff from one to the other. It's over 100 square feet. It's
So the other thing
Well,
that we'll need.
Looks
But
like he's
doesn't-
already moved the equipment
Wouldn't you
in.
have to approve, like, a business, like parking, all of that?
Correct. That's one of the concerns that's been voiced, is that, they kind of had a mobile snack shack before, and it wasn't, I guess at any point they could have hitched onto it and pulled it down the road, and that's one thing, but this one being permanent, there's a lot of permitting that needs to take place.
and I think he'll have a lot more permitting with the state too. When you go from a
Yeah.
little portable shack to a permanent one, I think the whole thing for the
Either way,
Falls
you
under
have
the
to have state
Department of
permit.
yeah and health
Department of Health and
yeah,
all
health and
that,
the whole
it's
thing.
definitely,
Also been told that
but that's not us.
that's not built on his land.
It's on his mother's land.
So he doesn't own the land that his building is on, so that's another issue. So technically, I don't know if the fines would go to him or the landowner.
Is there,
Well, it'd be the landowner, obviously.
is there a zoning issue too with regard to residential and business?
I believe there could be. I think there's a lot of issues that have been, not addressed, to put it nicely.
I recall that when the original trailer and business application were done, he had some, it was done. I remember him discussing some issues about it. But other than that, I don't know much about it.
Well, do we even have, like, a business zone? We don't.
Well, that would be
right?
It would just be the way
for the sale of food.
Yeah.
that kind of
But
business
I
application.
think that's a state.
Yeah, it
That's a
is.
state issue, not a
It
town
It is
issue.
a state, but
I don't believe
just
we
like
have.
this, well, it depends on what he's selling down there. If he sold beer, he'd have to get a licensing for that, he'd
Right.
have to get one through us too.
Right.
Yep, I don't think he
I
plans
think
on.
it's same
Well,
with-
no, I don't
I think he's
either,
just
but
doing the
I'm
same
just
thing.
saying,
I think
if
it's
it was
hamburgers, hot
something
dogs.
in
and-
that manner, then there would have to be a licensing through us, but I doubt that's what he's selling.
I have not spoken to him, so I
I
don't.
just no, and I don't
And it
know.
may be because they had the other, they thought it was,
Right. Yeah.
I don't know.
Like I said, it was brought to my attention. I said I would bring it to the board and see what we wanted to do. I think, personal opinion, I think our next step is to have Melanie come in and have her handle it on,
Yeah.
on the zoning.
That's
Yeah.
her job.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
Yeah, definitely.
so if we can just, Tammy, if we can make a note to have Melanie at the next meeting. I think I sent the email to everybody, but if not, I apologize. The ATV Club has asked to be at the meeting on June 28th.
Oh, okay.
Yes, you did.
That was the earliest convenient, or the earliest time they could make it, due to personal commitments.
So, I have a question on that whole
Absolutely.
ATV thing. So I was under the impression, which I clearly see now was not probably correct, but I thought the ATV was part of building this ordinance. With, like, this guy's been coming and talking every
Right.
meeting, and now all to once it's like,
So the
we
way,
got thrown under the bus by it, and it's
Yep.
like, I thought we were all working together, and now
All
it
I can
sounds
tell you
like
right now is,
they had no
since
idea.
they moved out, it's been very nice at my place. I mean, we had four-wheelers, they've been,
Well, everyone has said this is Gary Denton's wish.
yeah. And you know what? I've had a very enjoyable 2
Everyone
weeks.
that has called me has said, I hope Gary Denton is happy.
As it was said, us dumbass
So they'll
trustees.
be happy that you expressed that you are.
so the way I see it, and maybe I misinterpreted it, but we had multiple dialogues
Yeah.
discussing our ordinances. Our ordinances were posted. They had access to them, and I think they thought we were not going to pass the $10 fee. We had just a fee in there. We had no set rate at that time. I don't believe they thought we were going to go that route. And then once we did, that's when it led to the VASA will not be in a town that charges a fee. Now, I know Brenda has done some research on that, and well, I'm going to let you speak to that because I don't want to say something wrong, but
Well, first of all, they did know we were doing the $10 fee.
they did.
Because at one of our meetings, they asked, have you come up with the amount of the fee? You said $10. And they said they would let their club know that.
Right.
They didn't know if that would pose a problem because people were already paying X amount of dollars.
The hard part with that, Terry, is we're dealing with two entities. One was the Northwest Wheelers, which that was what they said they would do.
Right.
Take it back. And then VASA, which oversees
The
or
state.
governs that entity as well as all the other small ATV clubs in the state. And it is their position that they will not ride or allow their riders to be in a town that has a fee for access. That-
Reasoning?
There was
So what do
no-
they
there was
do
no-
with the
no, they
fee?
didn't- Thank you. They didn't want to add to the cost for their folks to be, because they already charged $60.
And what did they do with that $60?
Well, that's a bone of
It's in the
contention.
minutes.
It is, some of it is used for their signage. Some of it, I believe, helps compensate law enforcement, but it could be wrong. And the other goes to salaries and wages as well as administration costs. And theoretically, lobbyists and lawyers that represent VASA to this Vermont. And usually when they're talking about legislation that affects anything with an ATV in it, they're involved at the State House. So they have according to Danny Hale, they have several lawyers and lobbyists that work in their behalf. I've never met them, but I'm sure they exist.
When we were here 2 Saturdays ago, many of the ATVers that came here to purchase tickets were very confused as to why we were charging. And when we explained it to them, they were very respectful and they understood where we were coming from as a town. But the question I heard the most was, well, where do our VASA dues go then? Mm-hmm. So there is a miscommunication between VASA and its members, which, you know, I mean, it happens in everything, you know.
Well, I just thought everyone was on the same page. I thought this was like something that had already been
and I think
worked with all
the disconnect there was we were dealing with Tim, who again, very polite, very respectful, was understanding everything we were talking about, but he didn't have the authority to make the call at the state level. Okay, so as a club, they were like, okay, that makes sense. At the state level, they were like, that's a no-go. That's a hard no for our group. So
typical state, they can charge, but you can't.
Right. So again, Tim and Dan have been or will be invited. They will get the link unless they want to come in person. They're more than welcome in person too. But they'll be at the meeting at the end of June, because as I talked with Tim, it's very evident that, you know, there's a common ground here. We went from one extreme to the other. Yep. And Tim says, you know, I know there's a common ground where we can all be happy. We can ride in peace. We can, you know, respect and repair the roads and get all that stuff done.
He keeps saying some of the things he's been saying on Facebook.
Well, that's, they did go on there, and I took a screenshot of it and sent it to Terry the other day. They did go on there and say that Bakersfield did not kick us out.
Right.
Yeah, they did end up backtracking.
They went back and they
Their
corrected.
first post really was, I was not happy at all, because it made it sound like we kicked them out.
Right.
2, we had Fish and Wildlife coming and doing all the road checkpoints.
Right. And I just said that I had talked with Fish and Game and that they were willing, much the same as what you had just spoke of, is, you know, if we call Fish and Game, they're willing to do a roadblock. I mean, they're not going to come up here and patrol.
Chase four-wheelers, which we don't want them to do anyway.
And the ex-president Mr. Curtis was very mean mouthing.
Yep.
The select board and the decision of Bakersfield and
everybody has their
what was
opinion.
His first? J.W. Curtis. He was.
I don't know who that was.
He's not here anymore. He moved out.
He was here before you came in. He came in a couple times when we used to meet in the little hall out there.
Yeah.
For what though?
He was the VASA president.
Oh, he was the VASA president.
Before Danny Hale.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
The club president.
Yeah. Was it club?
Yeah.
I thought he wasn't state.
No, he's club president.
Okay, before Tim then.
Yeah, because Danny's been around a long time.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, in my personal opinion, and I might have been quoted in saying this, I have zero intentions of changing the bylaws for this year. Now, if Tim comes to us and he has a great solution, Tim and Danny come to us with a solution that works for us, works for them, and everybody's happy, I would be more than happy to.
It's hard to change it now when you've already charged people $10.
Absolutely.
That's right.
I would be more than happy to put that into the bylaws for next year. But yeah, at this point, it is what it is. I've also done a little bit of looking into the town constable position to see if we can, you know, say park at the bottom of Mr. Denton's hill and check ATVs. I think as long as I've got to do some.
Job?
Huh?
Who wants that job?
Well, I think it all depends on how you approach it.
Denton, there you go, big boy.
I got my pistol in my bullet.
There again, I think it all depends on how you approach it.
Oh, Barney Fife right
You know
there.
what? I gotta say, people were very respectful the last 2 weekends. There was no running after 10 o'clock. They were going up slow. I have no complaints. They've been, whoever was up there the last 2 weekends, I had a couple that were a little fast, but nothing,
I'll be honest with you, the people that have come here and have complained the most are actually our taxpayers, which don't have to pay for the sticker. We've had some of those that are on Facebook also that are really trashing, and it's like, get all the information, educate yourself on what we're doing before you start trashing everybody.
As I mean, Dennis over going down 108 right in the middle of the road.
Right, and that's his thing. If that's what he wants to do.
Yeah.
Then that's always been a chance he's willing to take.
He's got pulled over 3 or 4 times.
Exactly.
Oh yeah.
That's
Oh, people are still riding them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But
I think it's crazy with what it costs them to ride them. I think it's nuts that it's any different than a motorcycle myself.
And I've said this before too. I think it's not just the town issue. I think this is a statewide issue, and
Absolutely.
the only time it's going to be fixed is when the state steps in and says, we're following New Hampshire's model, and this is what we're going to do.
Yeah. They pulled it, the select board to Sheldon, said last weekend up in Sheldon, they opened their roads to Sheldon. It was crazy stupid. People, one side by side hit a stop sign, knocked it right over, smashed the machine up. He said they were crazy in Sheldon this weekend.
Oh yeah.
And I spoke with a Sheldon select board member also, and I said, if you want to keep your sanity, keep your roads closed.
Yeah.
That didn't happen, so that's his problem now. But as far as ATV goes, that's where we're at. They're going to come in. I hope their wheels are turning in their heads, trying to come up with a solution that's good for everybody. I know I've come up with a couple, but I'm not really getting any complaints about what we're doing right now.
Well,
there was the only thing I did want to see.
I did pull Arnold Malone over. He's going too fast. He's doing 15 miles an hour.
15. Yeah, gotta watch.
And he had his fire helmet on.
Was it a 3-wheeler?
4-wheeler.
Oh, he upgraded. Okay.
He has a speed shifter up here.
One thing I did, I saw, I guess it was on a Facebook post, is that any any income from this needs to be used in repairing the roads. Mm-hmm. So we can't say that we're doing that without actually doing it. So it just, I'll just want to check, make sure with Audrey that the money that's coming in is going in directly into the dirt work section of the road.
I don't think it is yet.
Okay.
I think we need to look at that, and I was going to bring it up if you didn't.
Okay. And do you know
where
how many,
are we going, and what is it going to go for? So,
and do you know how many tickets we have sold at this point?
close to 200.
We're about to sell number 200.
Okay, and that's, do you know how many resident tickets we have out of that?
Not many. I mean, I'm logging it on an Excel spreadsheet so they can prepare.
Rough estimate, 25 resident tickets?
Yeah.
Okay, so 175 times
most of it's
10.
non-resident.
So that's $1,750 that has been put back into our road crew. Some of the stuff that when I have residents that are complaining about it, I say I just use the easy number of 100. If we sell 100 tickets, that's $1,000. If you figure that, that's close to 12 hours of overtime per employee, per our 3 men down there. So is it going to set the world on fire? No. But is it going to help, our town crew and our, that's material and overtime, the way I look at it. I mean, $750, what can that get us for $750? That's what, 2 loads?
Bang for your buck and send them on regular hours.
Yeah.
Any way to
So-
account for that, Matt?
Right, but I'm just saying to give them an example of, what's that?
My question is there any way to account for specific repairs to areas that need remediation because of ATV traffic?
Yes, and that was one of the things I wanted to bring up tonight, Mac,
Right.
is that
We
when
should
you
have a
have
log.
to fix a corner, just in your book, when you go to log that, just highlight, marker, whatever you gotta do, just the ATV in big letters, that says
You can make a special paper for it too.
that would be awesome. Yep.
'Cause we're
He
gonna
does have
take-
a book. There is a book just outside the door here that has what they've done, what roads they've done, which equipment was used. That
It's
way,
a
if
work
we ever
log.
have a question, work log, yeah. If we ever have a question, you know, say Brenda says, I haven't seen the town guys on my road in 3 weeks, Matt can go,
In your
shit,
Well,
she's
one of-
right.
verbiage,
One of the other complaints off that was the parking piece too.
Yep,
It's not,
so my response to parking would be, there are private landowners that are willing to let you park on their property. Now, I'm not gonna give any names, but there are people that are willing to let you park on it.
What happened to those leases? They have,
Supposedly that was shut down before we closed the roads.
because they weren't doing what they promised?
I don't know the details, I heard that was shut down before the roads were,
what was it?
the 100-acre trail.
No, over here on the
Oh.
corner of Waterville and
I
East
don't
Bakersfield.
know,
They
that may
used to-
be,
they used to park out where she had her, her safety
that
plan
may be
was.
all open for all I know, I haven't.
I heard it was closed. I heard they got thrown out for some reason, but that could be his rumor. I don't know.
probably the same reasons we asked them to leave.
Do we?
Over here.
Do we maintain any road policy during the summer? I know winter parking is one issue, but parking on roads, I've not seen anything that
I don't think you can
keeps
park
them
travel
apart.
lane,
Do
right?
we have we do not.
They
No,
haven't,
there's nothing.
we don't have any policy and we haven't had a problem with them parking on the roads, so, yet.
I mean, when it comes to, if it cause a safety hazard, then there's gonna be problems.
Yeah. The other thing you might want to tell people that we're using the funding for could be signage, because if we lose the Wheeler Association,
Yep.
we're going to lose the source for our signs.
Right, and I think,
We need some signs. I thought we were ordering some signs, one to put on the avenue.
Oh, I know.
And
Well,
there was somewhere
theoretically-
else we were gonna put.
Yeah, there is
They still be-
one, or there was one on the avenue.
Well, there was that little,
You can't get the aluminum.
but we were gonna look to do a good sign
Try
for
to
the
get white
avenue.
paint and do crosswalks.
I think the avenue, and there was one other spot, and I can't remember where the other spot was. Was it the county road?
it might have been the county road, but what, I feel like county road has.
County road is closed anyway,
Right,
but,
well, so's the avenue.
No,
Yeah,
so
but
is
I
the
mean-
avenue, but
I mean, access to the county road, well, unless you're going over on 108, over by Hulls.
it's still closed there.
Yeah, I
County
know it's
road's
closed, but
closed, period.
it should have a sign there anyhow.
I think there is one.
Is
I
there?
think there's one
Okay.
that says no ATVs because the other, earlier in the year when we were doing school stuff, it was ironic that Matt had parked his ATV directly next to the sign that says no ATVs.
Well, this is property.
Yeah, I know. They just-
The other one might be at the end of Lawyer Road by the store, because when people peel off out of there, they look for roads to, they go to the store
Maybe that
for beer,
was-
and so that might have been it. I don't remember.
I just remember there was 2 roads that we were gonna mark, and I can't remember which ones they were. But definitely the avenue, I know is one of
I
them.
know Dave said they don't, they used to call
Maybe
it
it was the
they used to come
avenue
down the
and
gate,
the
they don't come down the
lawyer
road
road.
anymore.
One way.
They haven't bothered his
Yeah.
road at all.
Really?
Yeah, well, Matt,
Guess they
can
got
see
signs for the gates, but the aluminum,
I thought they did, but I can't
Give
remember.
signs for on the gates.
Egypt Road does.
Yep.
But he said they hadn't had any.
Did they have
not even come down,
Vaso?
even come down and turn around.
But don't they just
Lettering
have those
underneath
little Vaso ones? You think they have the big?
I had put the big signs up on the blacktop. Post Road had it, that one had it, and the bottom of the Egypt Road had it.
Is that the same
Okay.
sign that Kathy has up on her road? Okay, so that's the full size.
Yeah,
It's not,
Yeah.
it's not the one I can't get because of the aluminum shortage.
That's what the issue is now? Okay. I was just about to ask you if you'd heard any more on
oh,
that.
that
Can-
must be
can you,
because Seth just ordered, for the tent up at the country club, and he said they can't get them until like September.
Yeah.
Really?
Can you get them made out of marine plywood?
Aluminum posts for the tent, cause the
What, you're gonna float alone to make it marine plywood?
Huh?
Would it down have to float alone to buy marine plywood?
This is the third meeting since they've been ordered.
Yeah.
And that's what he told me.
Well, there's shortage everywhere.
It's supposed to be shipped, it's supposed to be there this week, but there's aluminum, just
Yeah.
the.
As long as they don't run out of
The
beer.
gates are up though.
I can't get paint to do
Okay, I mean, if the
crosswalks.
gates are up, that
Short of
shows
white paint.
intent.
Yeah.
I called the guy who does my crosswalks in the village,
Excellent.
and he's ordering 100 gallons because it's going to take 3 to 5 weeks for paint for just crosswalks.
Alright, so they're here next week.
No, 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Mail we've gone over, set future agenda, we've added stuff as we needed. Any others before we close this meeting?
Yeah,
Okay.
what are we gonna do with this assistant treasurer?
Good time as any. She said that she was working 2 days a week.
For Brandon's?
No, I was talking about Audrey, when she
Oh,
was
Audrey,
working at 2 mornings a week. And Tammy said she did 10 to 20 hours of training per year.
I wouldn't call it training, I would call it just assisting.
Assisting, okay. Well, and that's the other thing is it training or is it just purely assisting? Do you come in and are you being trained on how to do stuff, or do you come in and assist Audrey as she sees needed?
I would say the latter.
Sounds like a job description.
Well, it's hard to be an assistant and be trained by somebody who still is trying to be trained.
Correct.
So it's a tough.
So it's the latter of the two. It's more of a
I'm
come
gonna be
in
honest.
and
I'm
working together.
disappointed that Abby brought her kids with her to train. It's one thing when Abby's here working by herself to have the kids here because she knows what she's doing. I can't imagine being trained by somebody who has kids running around. That's pretty disappointing as far as I'm concerned because it wasn't fair to Audrey.
And I think
So-
Audrey felt that same way by the way she was.
Absolutely, and she tried to be as kind as she could with it, and I get where she's coming from. You're trying to learn, and it just was not right. So I feel like we owe her some sort of little more training to be able to, I don't know by who or how, but.
Is there any places that offer a QuickBooks training? I know they used to.
Online, they're free.
There is.
Yep, QuickBooks online training is free.
Maybe we could talk to her about that.
Talk to her about, yep.
I'll come up with the details for that.
And
Oh.
maybe if, maybe even if Susan was interested, if she would be, if the two of them,
Well, I
it'd
wonder
almost
if
be nice if they could do it together.
Well, because it sounds like she does have some
A
QuickBooks.
little bit of QuickBooks.
It's a little out of date. It has changed some, but
Some, but
I mean, I agree with Josh. I think they should take it together
yeah.
And
It sounds like she's
if we're going to
got
have
some
her
of
as
it,
a,
and she might be more of a refresher than a full meeting, you know?
My question comes from, we have one, it's an elected position, the other one is a hired position. And I think you were quite in your right to say we'd like to have a bit of a discussion with you, job interview, whatever, on that. So I'd like to make sure we take the time to do that, and that we talk about what we see as needed with respect to maybe some of the things that we didn't allow Audrey to learn in that capacity. And yes, learning environment out there, I've been there. You've been there. We've all been in there when it's been busy. I couldn't learn to sign my name, let alone try to learn something new. So it was poignant that she said so, and hard for her to say it. But I would have to agree with her.
Yep. All right. Yep. I also.
Yep.
So
yeah, I would like to definitely basically interview, but we need to know what are we interviewing for?
Exactly.
and
Like,
I think
what are we looking for this girl to do?
and that's the thing is if they were to come in and take, the QuickBooks online tutorial or online class together, if she would commit to that, then I think she would be more of a fill-in during vacation time, which may require her to be here, maybe a day or two after a meeting when we sign warrants, just so she gets used to that. And then, so a vacation fill-in and a assistant during tax season. That's
Vacation emergency fill-in, right?
vacation emergency fill-in and tax season assistant.
I mean, if she's sick a day, one day, That's one thing, but if she's got an emergency that's gonna take her out of the office for 3 days,
Well, there again,
Then-
it all depends on,
I mean, you're
you
not-
know, what day she's ill. You
right,
know.
but you might not be able to call this girl
Right.
on that morning and say, hey, we need you to come in today to do payroll. I don't know how that, if
It's-
she would, and maybe she would, cause she said her hands are flexible.
Yep.
I think a meeting with her, with what we expect laid out, and having Audrey here also, just to be like, look, we'd really like you both to take this QuickBooks online tutorial.
But if it's appropriate, absolutely.
Yep, and you're gonna do some looking into that. And if that helps, then, you know, maybe that just may be the fact that Audrey doesn't know that's out there. I mean, and it could be just a refresher for Suzanne, which would be great. And
So what's the time frame we're gonna give them that we want this QuickBooks training done?
But we need to meet with them first, or meet with Suzanne, I don't know which one. It's one of those things. We gotta meet with her first as an interview.
Do we wanna do that as a special meeting instead of waiting 2 weeks?
I feel that,
It's actually, I think it's more than that, I think it's 3.
I feel that we should do it sooner.
Yeah.
We'd be 3 weeks from today. So we could almost have a meeting, say, the first week in June is absolutely out for me, I'm sorry.
What's next Monday?
The next meeting Monday is the 14th. So we
Next
have
Monday is
the
Memorial
7th
Day.
that we could do it.
June 7th, that's a Monday?
We could do a meeting June 7th,
That's
and that would be a short.
that's 2 weeks.
That would be 2 weeks from today. Yep.
You can't do it next week.
I can't do next week.
I'm on
is,
vacation too.
I was gonna say next week's slammed for me.
Right.
I'm sorry.
Can anybody do Wednesday this week?
Wednesday.
I can't.
I'm on vacation
I'm
tomorrow.
gonna be in.
Take it off.
Well, how long is this vacation gonna be for,
I don't
Brenda?
know. I haven't had any vacation.
I can't do Wednesday
I was
either.
gonna say Wednesday doesn't work for me either. Sorry. That's like all of us are out on Wednesday. I mean,
I can do any Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
That's what it is.
Usually-
Thursday through Sunday.
Usually I don't have
usually
much
working.
else going on, but I do this Wednesday.
Let's block Monday the 7th. I mean,
today's
let's
the,
block out Monday the 7th.
wait, today is the 24th.
Right.
Yes.
The 31st is freaking Memorial Day.
Yeah. What about the 28th?
What's the
Not here.
28th?
Next Monday.
Not
You're
here.
not here. Okay. And you're not here the 5th.
Next
okay.
Monday is Memorial Weekend. Memorial Day.
Yep.
So are you here that Tuesday?
No, she's
No.
she's gone for like 2 weeks.
No, I'm not.
Oh,
So
sorry.
we can't
3
make
weeks.
a month to do this.
I'm back on Friday or Saturday, the 5th or 6th.
So we're
Right
back to the
here.
7th.
No, that's Monday,
So
Tuesday.
then we're back to.
I'm in freaking July now. Hang on.
You're in the wrong freaking
Wow.
month there, boy.
Holy Josh, June
Fifth is-
7th
June
then.
7th.
Okay.
June 7th.
Back to the day I said.
Yeah.
20 minutes ago.
7 o'clock?
Yeah.
June 7th at 7.
Yeah.
And that is only for an interview?
Yep.
Interview.
Treasurer.
Yep.
So-
Do we want
Is that?
Audrey at that one also?
I think we do. Yeah, I think we do.
I
Because
think we want. Yeah. So Audrey and
we'll try to get a framework of a job
Suzanne.
description. But we
Is
also
that
need to
executive
know.
session?
was her name?
Yes. Wooten.
I don't think executive session, but I don't believe we would have a.
John Clinton's
I don't
daughter
believe
said
it would be open for the public to attend,
There's 2 bears
but
just below my
no,
house on the road.
I don't
Oh,
believe
yeah?
we would have a.
Video.
I
We
saw
would not have a
Sal
Zoom link
and
for that
cub
meeting.
What
up
about
on the
minutes?
farm
Um,
a week and a half ago.
Yes, please.
There's a big one. Rodney's got a big one down behind.
So I think that if we
Big
have-
Long Meadows.
A framework of a job description.
It's huge.
We have Audrey's input as to what her specific needs are, and we propose online tutorial to back them both up. That will be okay.
Kidding.
Right?
What's that?
Yes.
Yes.
Just so you know, it all gets recorded, and it's on there. I know. It's all right.
There's another good turkey.
But if I didn't,
Is he
if I didn't
calling,
say it
is
at
he
least once a
calling me
meeting,
names again?
if I didn't say it at least once a meeting, I would be remiss.
I haven't sworn yet this meeting, so.
I did say Jesus Christ.
I did.
Heard you.
The big one at that.
Okay. So,
So we are
the
gonna
seventh
make, we're
at
gonna
7.
make
Yes.
this 7th, 7.
And Terry, you have the notes there for the outline as to what we're looking for in the assistant. And
We want him to do the QuickBook training,
correct,
which I
that's
think
both
we
of
should
them.
have a date that we want that
And-
done by.
Yes, we should, and we'll have to
Well,
inform
Brenda's gonna
her that
look
we
into
will be
it,
paying her
so
for that meeting
if
and that
Brenda
training.
if Brenda looks into it and determines, you know, it's a
I don't think this is gonna be a one and done type class, because usually they build knowledge from one to the next, so I'm guessing if it's anything like what I did for spreadsheets, it's.
like a series.
Yeah, there's a series.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Are we paying Susan Wooten for those training sessions?
Trainings, I would say
I
yes.
say yes.
Just,
Yeah, because she's doing it.
it's a question
For the
that's gonna come
position.
up, it just needs to be answered.
I
That's why
think
brought it
yes.
up.
What do we
Well,
determine?
they both would be paid.
They both would.
Well,
be paid.
yeah.
Yes.
Audrey's on salary.
Oh, right. And the pay for the assistant.
Pay for the assistant. Tammy said that she was getting 20, and that's what we have set
But that
In the
isn't that what
past.
Tammy's rate of pay has been
right along
right along.
for
That's for select board, or
Right.
town clerk, or.
so she didn't have multiple. It may come from different spots, but it's the same rate through and through. I'm open to interpretation here. Anybody has any ideas? Throw them.
Well, I mean,
Nobody likes the numbers game, huh?
What was, you said there was one thing that you wanted to talk to Melanie about, or you said the snack shack was one, there was two things actually, I think you said. What was the second thing?
it's all to do with that snack shack.
Okay.
That the complaint is there is no permitting
Correct.
Parking, so, on different, no,
on,
another property.
Oh,
Yeah, I'll let her know.
right, who needs
I'll let her
to
know.
do the permitting,
The other-
the property owner or the business owner?
Yeah, the other issue that I remember being mentioned was what's across the street from Heather, the development that's going in there.
Heather Tanner?
No,
No, can't be across there.
That's a swamp.
Yeah.
Heather Jewett, yeah, what's
Oh,
going on,
Heather
what's going on
Jewett?
across the road from there?
I don't know where she lives, to be honest.
I
It's
don't
right on the,
either.
right on
It's,
the.
it's right before, that used to be the Northwestern, what's his name there, had the
Lintier?
sheep.
Oh,
Huh?
Just
Lintier?
before Lintiers.
Four Lentiers.
On the opposite side.
I have not seen what's going on up there.
Roads and buildings and outhouses. Oh my. So,
So there's no permitting on that either.
that's what I heard.
Then we will give that information also to Melanie to look into. Well, as soon as you start talking, buildings, that's her and
Yep.
the ticket book and violations.
Is that where they kind of dug out like a gravel pit kind of thing? Is that, they had like a dugout?
Yeah,
Who owns that?
I don't know who it is. They had a camper up in there. Looked like they were trying to make a sugar and they had some tubing, old tubing stuck out
But
there.
he's got a backhoe up there and removed a lot of material to build the road. So it looks like he's just been doing a cut and fill. With respect
was there
to-
ever an access permit for that, Matt?
Yes, I believe there was.
Okay.
Cool.
Awesome. Any others? Carrie?
Nope.
No?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Totally.
You get
I will second that.
This is lit.
We have a motion made by Gary, seconded by Lance. All those in favor for adjourn?
What did
Say
we
aye.
decide on the hourly?
We didn't decide an hourly.
No, we didn't.
Oh, I thought it was $20. I thought we were doing 20.
Catton has thrown out 20.
Of course you would, old money bags.
15 to feel better.
Have we officially adjourned?
Did we? I don't think we took a vote.
No, we didn't take a vote.
I don't think we didn't vote. this is still a discussion.
So you said 20 an hour?
Well, still in
Can we
discussion.
see, can we see what her
Qualifications.
qualifications are first?
I think we should find
I
out
think
before what she.
before we do that,
If you
maybe.
don't know what you're doing, it's better pay her 15. If you know what you're doing, maybe 20. But
I agree. I
It can
think
range
we
from
need to,
15 to 20.
15 to 20.
There we go.
The
Okay.
range will be 15 to 20,
Depending on.
depending on experience.
On qualifications.
we need to talk to her more
About
first, I agree.
17 to 20.
I'd like
How
to
about
see,
17
I'd like to see a resume and work history.
Yeah.
Yep,
All those things need to be part of the record.
What's that?
Resume and work history.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Tammy, are you watching this over there?
Did we get a letter to those people about that building falling in the road? Remember we talked about it last meeting?
which building?
The one
The
The
one that
barn corner
Rosa
of
was
Watkins,
given
Bakersfield
30
and Watkins.
days to
Oh,
get
okay,
rid of,
yeah.
but now the ownership
he's-
has changed.
Who is that? Who does that? Was that also
I
being
don't know.
Melanie?
Is
We
that-
we sent a letter to Rosalie and she does
Wasn't
not
that Melanie?
have that property.
That
That's
should,
what I just asked.
I believe that's a Melanie issue as
That's what I
well.
wondered. Did we give
Yes.
it to Melanie to do though?
We also looked at, as I recall, whether we were gonna put that out to bid for somebody to take it down.
Well, it's
No,
not
that was a
town
different
issue.
barn.
Different barn.
Never mind.
Different barn.
And I
Yeah.
have made no
We're not
progress
paying
on
for
that. I
that one
haven't
because
found
it's not on
anybody,
our land.
haven't found anybody interested in doing it. I'm looking for
I'm just like
somebody
somebody throwing a match
that
on
will
that
do
thing
it
on the way
for
through.
salvage.
Oh,
If we can add
the
that
Geddes?
on the agenda next time, so that we just
Getty's
review.
Barn?
Yeah,
Yes.
both.
We can
Geddes.
only hope
The
the
Gettys.
The Gettys.
Get it.
Geddes.
Okay, you want on the agenda the Gettys barn and you want the other barn?
The Heath. And that's Heath,
The
right?
Heath's
Yeah,
barn?
he's grand, yeah.
Okay. Heath's barn.
That's why I was momentarily confused. I thought you were
And
talking about the
And if
Geddes
you go,
barn
and
at
if you
first.
go up 2 paragraphs, we had a motion and a second.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's way up here. No vote yet.
No vote.
Okay, so the Heath's barn, the Gettys barn, those are both for Melanie Thomas?
No.
No.
The Geddes barn is ours. The Heath barn is Melanie's.
Got it.
We're waiting for a good storm for the Geddes barn.
Waiting on.
As long as it's a west wind.
All those in favor of adjournment? Yeah.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
The ayes have it.
Okay,